Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something different. If you're here to see a haul, this is not it. I'm going to be sharing a recipe with you. Today I will be sharing something called Aji Verde, which is kind of like a green spicy sauce that is delicious on meats and pretty much anything, vegetables. It's cilantro based and with other things I will show you. And pretty much this is my spin on it. This is something that I believe is Peruvian, and it may have different variations, just like a marinara sauce would have. You know, one family may do it one way, another family may do it another way. I am no way Peruvian. I am not Hispanic at all. I just really appreciate the flavors. I love them. And yeah, especially with springtime coming, I'm just so excited to start grilling and putting this beautiful green sauce all over everything. I could eat this by the spoonful. So I would love to share this with you. If you're interested, stay tuned. So I'm going to show you everything that you need, but just a disclaimer, I don't really like to go exact by measurements or anything. Sometimes you have to play with it. Sometimes you have to taste things. It may say something on paper and you don't like something and you want to omit a certain ingredient. If you don't like cilantro, this is not the recipe for you. The spicy part comes from jalapeños and you can put as much as you want. So I don't really like to have like an exact recipe. I'm going to show you what to work with and you can just make it the way you want it. I've seen a couple different variations. Like I said, many people make it different ways. I'm using mayo in my recipe. Some people may use Greek yogurt if you want to lighten it up, but I will just show you the base. First up, you are going to need, ta-da! Cilantro. I love this so much, and it's one of those herbs that you either love it or you just are so disgusted by it. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to start growing it again in my garden. So yes, I'm gonna make kind of a big batch because I'm gonna share some with my sister and maybe whoever else is interested. I'm gonna make a big batch and have it last me for a while. So I'm probably gonna use most of this, but I believe if you're just gonna do a small batch, you may need maybe a cup or something like that. Next up, you are going to want some beautiful garlic. This is something else. Again, if you are not a big garlic person, you may not want a lot of garlic. I love garlic. I will be putting a ton of garlic in it. So like I said, you make it how you want to make it. Another awesome ingredient that is just making me so excited for spring and summer, limes. I'm going to use a lot of limes. Again, you use how much you want. I'm sure you can use lemon as well. I think I probably have made it with lemon before. I love limes. Something about it makes me feel, I don't know, tropical and just like refreshed. Love lemon as well, but I'm going to use limes today. Okay, like I said, you're going to be using some jalapeños. Usually you would probably never use this much in a small batch. I'm making a big batch and I'm going to taste it as I go. I'm going to make my sister's probably a little bit more spicy. I really can't take too much spice. Like I could take some, moderate spice, but nothing too crazy. So again, taste as you go. You are going to need some good old mayo. And again, I said you can use Greek yogurt, you can use, light mayo, the olive oil mayo, whatever you want. I have this today, so I'll be using this. Then you want to add some olive oil. And you don't need much. This is something just to liquefy it a little bit if it's too heavy. You might be able to use like water. I'm not really sure. Again, this is something you can play with. You make this your own sauce. If you end up really liking this and you want to change it up, go ahead and do you. So for me, I'm going to use some olive oil and see how it goes. So I can't give you an exact measurement. You will see as I do it. Okay, actually what I'm going to do first is I am going to do my garlic. And I'm going to do a ton of garlic because I really use garlic in a lot of recipes and I hate chopping garlic all the time. So I'm going to chop up a lot of garlic and store it in a little bit of olive oil in a mason jar just for the next week or two, just to have it on hand and just go right out of the jar and not have to get smelly hands every other day doing garlic. To help me with that, I have this little food blender. What do you call it? It's Ninja food processor. That's what it is. It's small. And when I bought this, I dedicated this just to garlic and onions and anything smelly because this is made of plastic and you will over time, yes, you will over time smell that aroma. Like that's something, unless it's glass, you really can't get it out. So that's why I bought that. Now, if you don't have a food processor, go ahead and get chopping on your garlic. You may want to do 2 or 3 cloves and add a little bit at a time as you're doing your recipe. Chop up a little bit and it's always better to have more than less. As you can see, I wasn't kidding how much garlic I'm going to do. This is probably 50 cloves that I just pounded and peeled and threw in. So I'm going to just run the food processor real quick and it'll be all ready. Okay, for some reason, I think I forgot to press the record button as I was doing the food processor, but what I did was I ground it up really, really fine. And this is how much it made in the mason jar, a ton. And also, just to keep things smooth and moving, I added some olive oil in it as I was pureeing it, just to keep things easy flowing and so it doesn't get stuck. Now, this is not all for the recipe at all. I just wanted to give you a little tip. If you hate chopping garlic constantly and you use garlic a lot, this is beneficial because then you do it one time, you're already getting smelly and dirty, and then you put it in your fridge and cover it up and just grab a little bit as you want to go. So I'm gonna put this aside and start chopping up my cilantro as well in the food processor. I'm not gonna rinse this out. This is all delicious stuff inside that's gonna be a part of the recipe anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw the cilantro right in. And here is my beautiful cilantro. And if you do not have kitchen shears, you should get them because I use them constantly. And if you don't, you will find a ton of reasons to get them. Some, just for instance, cutting herbs, cutting pizza if you have small kids or just want to have a half a slice, cutting, you know, anything, meat. So good. If you do not have one, I recommend getting one. Now with this is, I'm making a big batch, so you're gonna see me do a lot, and you may wanna cut it down a lot. You may wanna only have about a cup or 2 cups. It really depends on how much you're making. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I'm gonna do, and just keep in mind that I'm making a bigger batch. Again, also to keep things moving, you want to add your olive oil or your lime juice at this time, and these things help them keep moving. And if you do not have a food processor for this, I really suggest you get one, or if you want to use your blender, that's great too. Just keep in mind that it might make the plastic, if it is made of plastic, start to smell. So you could probably mix this stuff by hand, but for some reason, the food processor just makes it really smooth and really thin and not too chunky, which is nice in this type of sauce. So yeah, like I said, you can probably do it by hand, but if you can, try to get a small food processor or your blender. Just a quick note, I will use some of the stems. I prefer the leaves, but I'm getting already kind of low on the big stem, on the big leaves. So I will be digging down probably to about this amount and using the stems. There's nothing wrong with it. They're totally edible and taste delicious. I thought that I would have a ton more, and really when you start pureeing it, you start to see it go down and down more and more. So I probably will only have to do one bowl full. Okay, it doesn't really matter what order you do things. Really, this is all going in the same place. It's all going in the sauce. So next up, I'm going to be doing my limes, and I'm going to start with one, and then at the end, if I find that I want more limes, I will add another 1 or 2. So I don't know, just a quick tip if you don't know this already. If you have limes that are kind of hard or, you know, going a little stale, you can pop them in the microwave for about 10 seconds, or you can give them a good roll right here and get the juices flowing. Just a good way to get all the juices out, so you don't have to squeeze super hard. Okay, next up, which probably should have gone in with the garlic, but whatever, not a big deal, is your jalapeno. I am going to start, I'm just going to do a couple slices. Maybe I'm going to start with that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a little rough chop because yes, the food processor will chop it up more, but really I should have did it in the beginning. I guess I'm going to just do the whole thing because I am going to be adding a lot of the mayo, and that will stretch it out a lot, and it won't be that hot. I don't think so, at least. I throw the whole thing in. I throw the seeds in, everything in. You do what you like. You know your preference and your heat tolerance. I know I'm going to be stretching it out, so it's not going to be as hot as it seems. Okay, so as you're pureeing, like you keep seeing me do that with the popsicle stick, just so things don't get totally stuck on the bottom, just move it around every couple of pulses because you don't want it to get really thick and goopy at the bottom. But anyway, it is smelling so fragrant, so delicious. And I think it is time for me to put in my garlic. Now, as you can tell probably so far by this video, this is not a perfect recipe. This is real life, guys. This is how I cook. This is how I'm sure many of you cook. Nothing is perfect. I don't have a little like exact recipe on hand. This is not something that's baking that needs like a scientific type of thing. Just eyeball it, taste it. I'm not tasting it yet until all the ingredients are in. But yeah, there's really no way to go wrong. You do want to add like the garlic and the jalapeno in the beginning, and then get that finely chopped, then add the cilantro, then add kind of like your liquids inside. Anyway, regardless, it's going to taste amazing, and yeah, bear with me, people. Okay, I'm going to put the garlic in. I am going to start with about a tablespoon. And what's nice about this is that since it's already pureed really fine, that if I want to add more into my food processor after, I don't have to worry that it's not going to get chopped up. It's already pureed fine, and if I want to add it in, it'll blend in pretty smoothly just with a couple of pulses. I'm going to throw in a little more lime juice. Keep things moving in there. Okay, now what you want to do is add a little bit of salt and pepper. I keep saying this over and over again. This is by taste. I know this may seem a lot, but if it is a lot, I could always add more mayo and more other ingredients to stretch it, but I think that's a decent amount. This is something that is going to be flavoring meats, so you want it to really have a ton of flavor. You don't want the sauce to be tasting delicious and like missing something. So the salt and pepper really acts to brighten things up, pull all the flavors out, and make it super delicious. This is kind of, you just play around. Okay, my favorite part, the mayo. Now this isn't going to hold a ton of mayo, but I might end up dumping it and mixing it because at this point everything's already kind of chopped up where it needed to be. The mayo doesn't need to be chopped up, you know, I mean, it's blended, but if I have to, I'm going to transport it into a bigger bowl. Now this, you are going to want to do by taste. Everything with this is by taste. I'm going to drop some in, and it may seem like a lot, but this is going to make a lot. I want it to stretch. I want it to have a lot of fluidity. There's a lot of herbs and a lot of garlic in there. It needs to be stretched. I'm going to add more olive oil. Now guys, this is not like a healthy version. This is like not a low calorie sauce at all. That's why it is so amazing. Okay, this is how you want it to look, and I'm probably gonna add more if it tastes too strong. This is what you want. Look at how beautiful this sauce is. It is super bright. It smells amazing. I cannot emphasize amazing enough. I have a popsicle stick. I'm just going to dip it and taste it. Wow, so delicious. It is so amazing. This is pretty perfect right now. I will add a little bit more of everything just to stretch it a bit because I did want to have a decent amount for myself and for my sister. So I'm going to add more mayo, more olive oil, a little more garlic, a little more lime, everything except more cilantro, and because that's gone pretty much. And actually, it could kind of use a little bit more jalapenos. I might chop up a tiny bit more, and yeah. Okay, it's all incorporated. I'm just gonna do another taste test. And yes, every time you see me doing a popsicle dip, this one was to mix it. I threw out the other one that I tasted on. So do not worry, there is no cross-contamination going on. Wow, it is amazing. As always, I love this recipe so much. And it's not super spicy. And actually, I stopped it and added the rest of the jalapeno, which is 2 full jalapenos. And it's really not that spicy. I also added a little more garlic. It is just the perfect sauce on so many different things. That's what it looks like. It's super creamy, super vibrant. Okay, so I just cleaned up the space a little bit, and it made more. This is 2 cups. It made more than 2 cups. I have some reserved in the bowl that it was made in, and yes, it started dripping all over the place. It got messy, but wow, what a delicious mess. I'm just gonna pour some into my mason jar. Okay, yeah, so this is the final result, and I wish you guys could taste it through YouTube right now because this is awesome. This is going to my sister, and I am going to bottle up a second one for myself and keep it in the fridge. And I would store it in the fridge for maybe a month or so, something like that. It is mayo, and that could go bad eventually, but it's usually good for a couple of weeks. Shake it when you want to use it, and honestly, it might not even last that long because it's that delicious. If you like the spice and if you like the ingredients here, you are going to love this. It is perfect on steak, chicken, vegetables, everything and anything. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, give me a thumbs up if you've made this before, or if you are Peruvian, or if you have a different version of this. Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear any advice and any tips to make this better or different. I'm all about that. So yeah, let me know. Hope you guys enjoy, and good luck making this, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Bye guys.